There's too much shit out there to stress you out. This whole world is drug-infested, hate-infested, drug-infested world.
You know,
Hate
the war
drugs.
on drugs is hypocrisy, man. That's why it's not gonna work. It's fucking a lie. Alcohol and cigarettes kills more people than crack, coke, and heroin combined. So the war on drugs is really sort of a cocksuck, isn't it?
So the reason coke and weed are illegal in America don't got shit to do with your safety. The reason coke and weed are illegal in America is because the best coke and weed ain't made in America.
My name's Gary Webb. I am an investigative journalist. I've been an investigative journalist for about 25 years for daily newspapers. And in 1996, I wrote a series of stories entitled Dark Alliance, which was about CIA involvement in drug trafficking. These major newspapers had written about this issue back in the 1980s, but had written about it very dismissively, as if this is nonsense, it doesn't happen, it never happened. And then 10 years later, we came back with documentation showing that it was absolutely true, and that it was worse than it was.
It's always a slippery slope to kids. That's, you can get them, you want to get the voter on that one, you know? It doesn't seem like an adult twisting up a fatty to watch Nick at Night is doing any harm, but that's a slippery slope to your kids blowing people behind dumpsters to make money for them.
Notice, like, I don't even give a fuck about politics no more because I done figured it out. All of the government is pimps. They all pimps because pimps say shit to you and then don't explain it. That's how our
the war on
government
drugs
do it.
is slavery, and it's probably the worst domestic policy in America since slavery, and it's probably the most racist institution since slavery.
Former Los Angeles police narcotics detective that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time.
Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is your government who imports those drugs and who is selling those drugs.
Smuggled into the United States of America by the Venezuelan National Guard, in cooperation with the CIA.
Marcello, guns, drugs, exactly CIA, Hawaii, California, Mexico, submarines, Texas, Louisiana, terrorist and rebel groups. That was in 1970. We looked about the role of the U.S. military in drug dealing, as ordered by the CIA.
The Partnership for a Drug-Free America was largely funded by alcohol and tobacco companies. That kind of tells you all you need to know right there. The war on drugs was started in 1971, started by Richard Nixon.
So it started with Nixon's war on drugs that each subsequent president continued, and Ronald Reagan played a huge role as well. Slate explains that Reagan engineered passage of 23 other anti-crime measures, including dilution of the insanity defense, oppressive forfeiture laws, abolishment of parole, and mandatory minimum sentences for offenses involving weapons, not to mention the Sentencing Reform Act. So when you look at data, the trend is evident. There is an explosion of mass incarceration with the onset of the war on drugs, and now when the private prison industry came to fruition, it became lucrative to lock people up.
They will never legalize drugs in America is because the government makes way too much money putting our brothers and sisters in fucking jail.
Ruppert, R-U-P-P-E-R-T. I did bring this information out 18 years ago, and I got shot at and forced out of LAPD because of it.
The worst part about the war on drugs is that it's led to America having the highest incarceration rate in the world. So we imprison more of our own people than any other country in the world. In fact, we imprison more people than every other liberal democracy combined.
who has made a career preaching that anybody who does drugs has got to go right to jail. Do not pass go, no questions asked, right to jail, gets caught doing 30 OxyContin a day. 30 OxyContin? Do you have any idea how high that is? I don't, and I've been pretty high.
Nah, the government's like this. The government, they don't want you to use your drugs. They want you to use their
Aspirin is
drugs.
perfectly legal, but if you take 13 of them motherfuckers, it'll be your last headache.
Believe me, all my friends, the ending of the story.
The decision was made at the National Security Council level. Read that, folks. That's the White House. To sell heroin to American citizens to keep.
It consumes you, haunts you like the devil. It's the art of the process, kills off all the rebels. It's me. Learn from its mistake.
Weed's not as bad as everything else.
The government reaction was no reaction. And this, I believe, was a very careful strategy, because nobody was going to believe the government if they came out and said we didn't do it. The proof was fairly overwhelming, since we had all these government documents showing that it had happened.
Many of you right now in this room have been screaming for the government to take away some of our freedoms in order to get the drugs off the streets.
At the end of the day, it's all about freedom. It comes
freedom.
down to this. Who owns your body? Do you own your body, or does the government own your body?
Nothing higher than weed, though.
You know the problem with the war on drugs is they lump all drugs together. You know what I mean? Pot and crack. And they're not the
Drugs,
same.
you got to do shit to it chemically. You got to add baking soda, water, stir it up. I don't know the recipe. I'm just saying.
The whole goal of the war on drugs was to eliminate drug use from society, and it's been an absolute failure. Get a decent gauge to how effective the federal war on drugs is. We can't even keep drugs out of federal prisons.
You see a weird ass drug commercial trying to get you hooked on some legal shit, and they just keep naming symptoms till they get one that you fucking got.
These people are not as smart as we give them credit for. They use fear as a tool.
If the government owns your body, then the government can decide what you put in your body and what you don't put in your body. And if you put something in that they don't like, they throw you in a cage for it. And that is slavery.